"You have such pretty hands, so young and smooth," my mother said as she turned my hand over in hers. It hadn't occurred to my 9-year-old mind that hands could be something to admire. I looked at hers. I knew them almost better than I knew her face. Faint blue veins running to the knuckles, short-clipped nails that were rarely polished. Those hands were always in motion, writing letters and chore charts in her round, tidy script, twisting the phone cord around a finger as she talked to my grandma for hours, picking through her long, dark hair in the search for split ends, creating comfort out of nothing but a ball of yarn and a bobbing crochet hook. I turned 40 the other day. I stood in the kitchen and studied my hands, and they looked like hers. Narrower in the fingers, I think, and wider in the palms, but the veins stand out in the same way. The nails are short, the skin dry. These hands are older than hers ever were. Not only am I older than my mom now, I'm in a whole separate decade. She never even saw the downhill slope to 40, but I don't feel like I've passed her up, not yet. I'm in the same stage of life she was in when I knew her. My children are still young, like hers were, when she had to leave. And now my oldest child is the same age I was when I knew my mother best. 10, almost 11, 5th grade, the golden year before the bottom fell out. I know my Ellie is not me, but her whole life I've been unable to stop comparing her childhood with mine. I first held her tiny curled body in the night and thought I could almost remember being the one who was held, who was hummed to. I rinsed shampoo out of her soft toddler curls and saw my mom's soapy hands, heard her voice come out of me. "Look up high, look at the sky." When Ellie first rode a bike and I ran for the camera, my mom cheered down through the years for her wobbly daughter on the old blue banana seat. When Ellie and I snuggled at bedtime and read Harry Potter, I was curled up with my brothers again in a cold Narnian wood, our mother's voice falling softly around us. These 10-plus years of mothering have almost given me my mother back. Even in the frantic times, when I feel myself unhinging, I go back to the picture of my mom sitting wearily on the kitchen floor, my dad slumped beside her in his work boots, little boys climbing over and around them in the height of the witching hour. She leans her head back against the oven door, closes her eyes, tells him she's running away, invites him to go along. I have mentally fist-bumped her in solidarity 100 times. Every dentist appointment I've held a small hand through, every temperature I've taken, every gap-toothed grin I've ever savored has been a retelling, a reclaiming, all leading up to now. Now that we're here, I recognize the place I've been yearning for and dreading since I got my first glimpse of Ellie's heart-shaped face. I reach from behind to show her a passage on the piano, and there are my mother's hands moving across the keys. In my head, she's calling down the stairs from the bed she can't get out of. "You're missing a flat, Amy." When Ellie slips her hand into mine as we run through a parking lot in the rain, my mom runs laughing with us. I curl her hair in the bathroom, and my mom is in the mirror, staring back at me incredulously. "You're almost as tall as I am. Stop it." We walk out the door after the 5th grade maturation program, and I am my mom, nudging her arm, making some crack about the wonders of womanhood. And she is me, groaning and stifling a smile. We're really here. She likes to be with me, you see. She stands at my side and awkwardly smiles when someone exclaims that she's so grown up, so like her mother. She asked me to play Boggle and Bananagrams when her siblings have gone to bed. It all feels just how I remember it. She will change. She'll pass right through this sparkling end of elementary school moment, this place where a mother's love is still tinged with magic. If all goes right, she won't become suspended here, not like her mother did. She'll leave the little dreamland I've been sitting in since long before she came, and when she does, I'll have to go along. To a place where mothers are merely people, and daughters discover it, and they pull away to make a space for their own selves to grow. My daughter will drag me into a stage I never reached, and I'll run out of mother-daughter memories to match her age. I fear that is when I'll finally become older than my mother. When Ellie was a newborn, my dad gave me a box full of my mom's journals. For more than a week, I immersed myself in those spiral notebooks. I read her every word, savored her details, searched for hidden messages that might apply to me. During all those days, she was around me, inside me, vivid and alive. Too soon in her story came mentions of surgeries and treatments, and I wanted to stop reading, but my pounding heart pushed me on. She recorded her medications, her pain, The entries grew sparse, the handwriting seized and swayed, and then I turned the final page and stared at lines and lines of nothing. And grief rushed in to fill my empty spaces. After all this time, I had lost her again. I feel another final page approaching. My daughter and I are about to walk off the edge of the only map I own. I can't slow down and I can't turn back. All I can do is hold fast to my two great hopes. First, that I'll simply be allowed to stay, to be here for whatever waits beyond my well-known mile markers. And second, that somehow, when we go, I'll find a way to take my mother with us.